let's just look at this Long Island matter and what's happening. We saw last week pictures that the police have not confirmed whether or not they belong to or do not belong to Adrian Gibson, or even if they're investigating Adrian Gibson. But senior officers went to Long Island and they confiscated if all or most of his vehicles from a reported car rental company. Gentlemen, what is happening here that we see unfold? For example, let's go with the first part. Do you believe Adrian Gibson is being targeted, or Adrian Gibson has a lot to answer to?
I think he's being targeted, Shanique. I endorse the comments of my leader because I spoke with Adrian Gibson a couple of days ago, and I will not share in detail all of the conversation. But I'm quite aware that I'm encouraging Adrian Gibson to sue the government of the Bahamas because he owns a business that he had before coming into politics. And, they need to be also made aware that Adrian Gibson was the executive chairman of a corporation. He also was a lawyer practicing full-time when he was at the Water and Sewage Board. I dare say, that he was making more money than the minister. Adrian Gibson runs a very successful business in Long Island. I dare say that he can prove to the Bahamian people that where the funds came from, if that is the intent, to say this is something of any illegal proceeds. And so I think the government it's quite direct in their intent. This is a witch hunt, and this is directly to the Member of Parliament for Long Island. But
why this witch hunt?
I believe it is because I think the Prime Minister of the Bahamas taken some offense the way Adrian...
To what? To Adrian Gibson?
Yes, I believe when Adrian Gibson sat in the House of Assembly, he reminded the Prime Minister of the Bahamas how incompetent he was when he is still the Member of Parliament for Cat Island. It had to take the same child that the Prime Minister referred to do the heavy lifting in Cat Island and many areas in the Farming Islands. So I believe this is personal. I believe the Prime Minister is quietly aware of what is happening, and I believe Adrian Gibson is quietly prepared to take on this government.
Leavin, so you heard Richard. You heard Richard's explanation. Your thoughts? And is Adrian being targeted? And if Richard say that he's being targeted because when the FNM was in power, he made some statements across the floor, then what are we playing here, dollhouse?
Well, let me tell you, he did say, one thing he does do is lay pipe. That was the famous statement from Adrian Gibson on his feet in the House of Assembly. But I don't know whether or not that would have been
stay away from them pipe talk.
Pipe laying will cost you, right? Yeah. But I don't know whether or not Mr. Davis, a man over 70 with 50 years worth of practice in the legal fraternity, would be so offended that he can't lay pipe that he would, target Adrian Gibson. And I do adopt Richard's position. The man was an executive chairman. That job nets you about $80,000 a year. If he was still practicing law, which I don't think there's any law that would have exempted him from, God knows how much money he would have made doing that. Plus, he was a sitting member of Parliament, so that's an additional $28,000 a year. For all intents and purposes, the man could have very well been netting 130, maybe 140K per annum. If after 4 years of netting $140,000, you can't afford to buy yourself some scooters and a couple parcels of land at about $15,000, my next question would be, well, how much is pipe laying really costing you, right?